Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Jess Get Hired podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Fiesta George. Today we're going to dive into something that affects almost every job seeker out there. We're going to talk about employment scams. Scammers are getting a little bit more creative every day and very convincing. And with job searching already being stressful, the last thing anyone needs is to worry about getting tricked. I've brought in someone special to help us break it all down for us, my good friend, Ranbir Bhutani. He's the CEO and virtual Chief Information Security Officer at Cyberculture. Ranbir's a cybersecurity expert with over 20 years of experience working with government agencies, financial institutions, you name it. He has seen it all. He's here to share the signs that we should look out for, the steps that you can take if you think that you've been targeted, and how you can stay safe in today's digital job market. So if you've ever wondered how to tell if that amazing job offer is legit or you just want to be prepared, stay tuned because this episode is going to be packed with tips that you don't want to miss. Ranbir, welcome to the Jess Get Hired podcast. Finally, we have been planning this for quite some time. I think probably a year or so. So I'm glad to finally get you on camera. We talk all the time online, but you've been such a great resource for me. And I think that this topic is so relevant right now to people who are putting their resume and profiles all over social media and all of the different job boards, and they're getting calls left and right from people. So this is an important topic. So I'm excited to get your perspective on this. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it. Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a great background in cybersecurity, so it's an important topic. What led you to focus on protecting people and your journey in cybersecurity?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Again, there are many folks that are, trying to get opportunities, and the idea is that, okay, maybe some of those jobs may not be actually ethical. It could be a potential scam. So the idea that what's near and dear to my heart, how do you protect an applicant, and how do they protect themselves is very important, especially in the scam world as it continues to rise, and not just from the job or false jobs or scammy type of jobs. And then there are many other scams out there, but this is very important, crucial, because, as a candidate that is trying to apply for an opportunity, and again, everybody has situations supporting their families, supporting themselves, but the idea is a lot bigger than that. How do you protect yourself? That's one of the reasons why, again, I'm in this field. I really want to genuinely help folks and maybe give them even some tips and some advice.
Okay, well, scams seem to be more sophisticated these days. Can you break down exactly what an employment scam is and why it's so common right now, especially online?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, even myself, sometimes you'll get an email saying, okay, well, we're hiring for an office manager. It's from a Gmail account. Again, these are red flags that instantly, of course, I can identify, but to share to others that look where it's coming from. Look at the source, right? If it's coming from a Gmail, that, again, you really want it coming from a corporation or a company's name, right? Even that sometimes can be questionable. But the idea is like, okay, well, they're offering you like an office manager position or something to do with shipping, or even, saying, okay, well, you can work from home. Scams are very, very big these days, most common. Oh, you can work from home. You can make $30 an hour. You can go work for like Amazon, Google as a customer support tech. Ideally is if you want to apply to those jobs, go directly on the vendor sites of at least the big names or whoever the company is that's offering that role, right? So that's one way to validate. But again, you definitely have to be vigilant and aware of these type of emails, and just don't respond to them. Maybe put them in your spam folder or delete or get rid of them. That's very important.
Are there particular industries or types of jobs other than what you already mentioned? I do see that a lot because I get targeted. I saw your profile and you would be a perfect match for a warehouse worker that we have. And I'm like, where in my background does it even say that I would want to do that or have done that before? So have you seen particular industries?
That actually any and every single industry, from manufacturing to financial to healthcare, to maybe a specific trade, maybe automotive, right? The idea is like, because if especially we're in job hunt mode, we're looking for an opportunity, our next opportunity in a trade or a career in whichever industry we're trying to target, your mind is so focused, you're not thinking about, oh, this could have been a potential opportunity. I'd bring up LinkedIn because obviously that's really the be all end all social media platform that everybody uses to go find opportunities, right? Sometimes, and I don't know about yourself, but I'll get message saying, "Oh, we had this. My CEO wants to meet with you," but then you go on their profile and they have like one connection or two. That's a huge red flag. Do not respond. Either flag it or report it or delete the message. Because ideally, what they try to do is fish for folks, especially like us, right? We have lots of followers. And again, we are doing what we do best. But the idea is, these are things that you definitely have to look out for.
Okay. Well, it's easy to get kind of caught up in promising job offers, especially when you're excited to land a role. Are there red flags, even if you like make it through the supposed interview, that you should kind of be aware of that could raise a red flag when you get like an actual job offer, job letter, etc.?
That is a phenomenal question. And the reason why I say that is, and this has happened to some family members of mine and folks that I know, is they'll ask for you to pay for equipment. In the United States, as long as I know that doesn't happen. Maybe other countries, because they have costs incurred, like to run, like if you have to do a health screening or that type of nature. And the U.S. is very different here. Never, ever, ever, ever pay for anything, especially pertaining to a job offer. That just, it doesn't work here, and it never has. That's a big, big red flag. I'd say don't even bother contacting them, delete the communications, block the email, do whatever you have to do necessary, because that just, you don't have to pay for anything, especially equipment that a company's sending you. And I've heard of this, and it's unfortunate because the candidate's like, well, I got this offer and I've been looking for a job for a year. Everybody has bills. Everybody has, everybody's situation is different. But the idea is like, just be aware that you don't pay for anything. I mean, then that's a huge red flag.
So that actually happened to one of my friends. He's been on the job market for quite some time and, was really excited because it was like a 3-step interview process. It seemed legit. Like, he even asked me like, hey, have you ever heard of this company? I was like, never heard of them before. Kind of, I didn't do like deep dive research into it, but he finally got the job offer and they said, can you Western Union us like $400? We're going to reimburse you, but we need to make sure that we will get our equipment back if you quit. So we don't want to send you a laptop and all of the equipment and the phone that you're supposed to, they were going to send him like a cell phone or something and send us the Western Union. And he didn't tell me about it. And he told me after the fact because he was embarrassed about, sending money. Obviously got ripped off, never heard from this company again. You can't call into that number anymore. Companies who are legit are going to provide all of those things that you need and should never ask you for money up front. So like to your point, pay attention to those as signs that you could be scammed.
I understand that in the scammers world, right? And maybe we don't think about this from an observation perspective. Maybe they have families to support. I'm not feeling sorry or bad for them. I just think that it's ethically wrong for what they're doing, because your friend was looking for a job for months, and then that $400, again, especially if budget is a little tight. I get it. We all have been there, right? But the idea is a lot bigger than that. And, also you just need to be vigilant and aware of these things, especially when you're going after many opportunities, you're applying to many jobs. It's just wrong.
I think it's messed up. Well, let's get into the mindset of a scammer. How are they actually reaching people? I mean, everyone uploads their resume, so obviously they're probably getting information from that, and they're probably using your email address if you're submitting into like Indeed or something like that. Are there psychological tactics they make people feel like they can trust them, or any insight into that?
Yes, they're very manipulative. They're very persistent. So, for example, if you get a text message, hey, we have a job offer, $50 an hour. Oh, cool. That got my attention. $50 an hour. They'll give you info. They'll, again, but the idea is like, okay, well, put your guard up and ask questions. Okay, where's your company registered? Right? Which state registered? And sometimes they won't respond. They're like, okay, yeah. Their idea is to just get a bite. It's just like in sales. Get a bite, get the lead and bring them into an appointment and then close the deal. That's their world is like that too. And like it's like sales and marketing for them, right? The other option is email. Hey, we have this phenomenal opportunity for you. So it kind of the words that they use that, and especially when I say words, it kind of excites you, especially in the job market. There are things you can do to do your research and due diligence to validate legit company. And it's interesting what you just said earlier, or just a moment ago, LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn jobs, right? Hundreds of applicants post one, and all of a sudden you get folks don't even have background experience that are applying. So sometimes what they'll do is it's called a fake job posting and double post. Okay. So they'll fish for information. So they're creating their databases. And I'm not kidding you, on a dark web, in cyber criminals, hackers, again, scammers are not as bright as one would think. They work in call centers. There's can be hundreds of them. Some of them make insane amount of money because they're just scamming folks. But again, they need work. They need to support their families, but they know ethically and morally it's wrong that they're taking folks hard-earned money that's been out of a job for a year. And it just, again, it goes back to you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your checks and balances. I'd even say go as deep as checking if that company is registered in the United States. And they have, again, even for my business, like articles of organization are registered in the state of Virginia. I have an ID number, like I am a legit business. So then that at least gives you a little bit ease saying, okay, well, I validated that and that they're actually registered. And I'm not saying that they still could be a potential scam company, and obviously go on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, again, there's no guarantee to say, okay, that's a legit, but if they have a company page, they have a good amount of followers. I mean, these are things you just check for before even sometimes applying, because you're in that, hey, I need to apply to every opportunity that aligns to the role that I'm trying to obtain or land.
What if someone has been scammed? What can they do if they know they've been scammed? Maybe they, like my friend, gave some money, but if there is a scam that's out there, who do they go to? I think that's where everyone draws a blank, because it's like, okay, well, who do you report it to? Like,
they can call me. No, jokes aside, but it's interesting you say that. There's not like a scammer hotline that you can call. And me and my buddy, he has a fraud intel company, but we've been talking about this. Like, how do you help the consumers? Like again, this is not related to the job scamming, but the Medicare and Medicaid scams are on the rise. I get those calls every day. But they're using automation. They have numbers and lists, and they're just waiting for somebody to pick up and then have a target. But remember, they also manipulate. And then to add, not that this is related to the podcast we're on, but AI voices are on the rise. Yeah. I can tell. My wife can't even tell it's AI. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's scary too. But to your point, of course, I'm hoping this podcast reaches to millions so we can spread the word. But again, I would say that if you have a family member in IT, and there's every person that has a family member in IT or cyber, I'm not kidding you. I'm pretty sure that exists. So, just ask them, like saying, hey, I got this email about this job. And then sometimes maybe they'll forward the email. And right away, I can tell you within seconds that that's a scam.
Right.
That's a strong, that's my word of advice, because there is no 1-800 number that you can call.
And I really wish there was. And that's a good business idea if anyone's listening, because there should be an advocacy for people who've been scammed, because there are thousands of people out there who have lost a lot of money. I mean, probably if we added it all up, millions of dollars, and being scammed out of, a potential job offer that they thought was real. And it would be a great business idea if someone could be an advocate for them. And I don't really know if there is a place. So if you are a place, let us know, because I would definitely like to share that.
But on the bright side, Jess, we could, because you have your website, right? So you could have, let's say, another tab that says cyber tips
Mm,
101, and then in there
hmm
could go in what we talked about, because your focus is in the job market and job world. You're very well experienced in that realm. So if folks needed some guidance, obviously I could, help you there. I'm just saying, because I really want to spread the word, right?
Yeah.
And again, the idea is like, let's help those to help others, because if they were a victim, because they're so embarrassed to say that this happened to them. I
hmm
mean, I don't know about you. Yes, I would be embarrassed too, and I've been
Yeah.
scammed before. I'm saying this on air, right? And sometimes maybe you're helping somebody. How to protect yourself from even sending some money, or being scammed out of dollars? I mean, regardless of the amount, it's just it's sometimes tough, because you don't know what you don't know unless you're educated.
Yeah. Well, good point on the cyber tips. I think I will dedicate a space for that, and I will need your help. So I'll lean on
I
you for
got you.
that.
I'm here.
And hopefully, it won't take us a year to build that out on the
No,
website.
no,
But
no, no. It will. It will. I promise you, it will. Maybe a couple of days, we'll plan it out and
yeah,
post
no,
it.
but I think that is really important because I hear it more and more every day. I see it online. You and I are very active on LinkedIn, and I see
Two
posts about
efforts.
it at least, a couple of times a week where someone's either gotten scammed or they're, being asked for sensitive information, and they feel uneasy about it and they don't really quite know who to trust anymore because there's just so much out there and it's hard to feel 100% safe. But are there any everyday tips then, let's go with that, on what job seekers should do to stay safe when they
Sure.
are searching online?
Absolutely. Here's another thought that just came through. So again, I've been very blessed. I get emails all the time for opportunities, 1099 corporate, whatever. But sometimes some of those recruiting agencies ask for your driver's license picture
Mm,
or social security number. Do not, I repeat, do not give it to them unless the actual client, whoever the client is, whether it's a federal, private organization, commercial, requests it from you. Because what's happening, and again, this is, I want to further elaborate actually what's happening in that world. So
hmm
a lot of job seekers, right, that are going after these opportunities, and talk about scam jobs, but now you
mm,
have scam candidates. So
yep.
what they're doing is they're interviewing, but they have somebody else speaking on their behalf, answering the questions during the interview. And
Mm,
they're also starting to take advantage of AI activated responses. So that's something also to look out for, especially when employers are seeking candidates. So it's actually a two-way street now, if you think about it. So it's like, okay,
wow.
well, job seekers are looking for jobs, and then there's a lot of scam jobs out there. Vice versa, candidates that are looking for jobs but pretending to be someone who they're not. So it's like an actor, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
no, I just
I actually am I'm in an HR group and this question did come up and I paused for a minute and was like, how is that even possible? But we might need to do another podcast episode on this topic
yes,
because
sorry.
I
This is
have
just
heard of people
please.
doing this. Yeah, they like people get online and they'll have someone else do it. And since it's a remote job, like they're not even doing the person you think you're hiring is not even the person that's doing the actual job. And then, you have places that don't do Zoom meetings or whatever, and they just send you all of the things. And, if they do have something, they don't have their camera on and they have other people doing the work. So they've farmed it out to someone else overseas where they can like take a cut from it. So, I mean, that's another good topic that
Yeah, no,
I
they'll be on
didn't
camera though.
think about.
Like we see them, but like they're lip talking. But there's ways
Ah,
to identify it, especially in your world, and eventually I'll teach that. But the idea is like, okay, yes, this would probably be another podcast. But back to again candidates, being
mhm.
scammed and things to look out for. And again, these are just we're just sharing the tips as much as we can help to say, okay, identify the red flag.
Right. Well, gosh, Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up though, because it is an important thing for employers on the flip side to start thinking about with AI technology. I even saw recently there was a whole podcast episode where the two people talking were both AI, and they didn't disclose it till after at the end,
Yeah,
but it
yeah, I
seems
know,
so
right?
legit. Like, but I'll tell
Whew.
you, I'm real, you're real, we're real people.
I'm
Um,
real. I'm real. Yeah, I know that.
but yeah, I mean, it looks so real these days. It's hard to
Yeah,
like distinguish. So I'm excited to see what the future has uh, as far as the use of AI technology, how businesses can use it, um, and how to also avoid not only employment scams, but all the other things that, people with bad intent will, present, and hopefully we can spot out the fakes versus the real ones. But before we end the podcast, again, I do want you to come back, but any final thoughts or tips for candidates to stay vigilant and know what they should be watching for? And is there something you wish everyone knew about cybersecurity and job searching?
yeah, no, that's a great question. Again, like I said earlier, just validate the corporation, make sure they're legitimate, they're actually registered to the state of wherever they're headquartered, or
Hmm.
sometimes other businesses are registered in other states. So that's one way to check and validate.
Hmm.
Again, you got to do your homework, and you got to do your due diligence, right? Other than that, if you do get an offer and they ask you to pay a fee for something or equipment or for whatever, then that's a red flag. Do not pay them, especially if it's Western Union. That
Hmm.
clearly, light as day, is a scam, right? If you get messaged on LinkedIn saying we have this amazing job opportunity for you, right? Again, the idea is like, okay, well, do your due diligence, check out the profile. If they have like 3 connections, red flag scam, don't even bother responding.
Hmm.
What else? Oh, if you get called for a job opportunity, right? Ask who the company is, ask them where they're registered. They might hang up on you like within seconds. But that's the idea, right? So do your due diligence, do your homework, do your research. Again, that's very important. And these are things that are preventative measures to protect you as a candidate, especially when it ties to emotions, especially if you've been out of a job for months or up to a year. And Jess and I know that the market is very interesting today, and
Hmm.
just protect yourself, right? And through your second question, from a cybersecurity perspective, right? Always protect yourself. Use super secure passwords, multi-factor authentication. Especially in your social media sites, always enable it. Either you can use the Authenticator app on your phone. SMS is not as secure, but again, you know, it's through a secondary device to validate that you are who you are logging into your social media site or to any type of web applications that you're using, right? So again, that's some of the advice I can give from a cybersecurity perspective. Again, if you're getting text messages about job opportunities, there are also ways to validate that and ask. You can text them back and ask them, hey, what's your company name? Where you
Hmm.
registered? Those are the first 2 questions, and I swear to you, they won't bother responding. Sometimes they are persistent though, because like you said, they'll try to use manipulation or emotional tactics. Right?
Hmm.
Again, there's many different avenues of scams out there which we haven't discussed, but I'm sure we'll get to those eventually. But the idea is, especially in the job market world, you have to protect yourself as a candidate, and just like I said before, be vigilant and be aware.
Okay. Well, where can we learn more about cyber culture, your company, if you want to just do a shameless plug on what your company does and where we can find you?
Absolutely. So we're cyberculturellc.com. Our focus is in the fractional CISO, virtual CISO space. So really what we do is we help small businesses build a strategic cybersecurity program. And we align very much with National Institutes of Standard and Technology. A lot of their special publication series like Risk Management Framework, Cybersecurity Management Framework. So the idea is that we align very much with that to help these companies say, okay, not only do they have policies, procedures, plans, and technology, right? Ideally, that's really what we do, what our focus is. We're planning to offer more services, but that's, for the future. And that's really what our focus is. And hey, if you want to reach out to us for some tips, or you feel if someone, we don't charge for that, but I'm here. I'm very responsive on LinkedIn. I know Jess and I are super active, but the idea is like, how can we spread the word? So I could spread the word to everybody that let's say that listens to this podcast, or maybe reaches out to Jess and I, and then they spread the word. And again, it's like a network, right?
Right.
Word of mouth is more powerful than having 3 million followers on LinkedIn. It really is. It really is. So that's just sharing with you our background.
Okay. Well, I appreciate all of the insight that you brought to us. I think we can go down a rabbit hole when it comes to this topic, and would love to have you back on hopefully next year. As we're wrapping up, I can't believe we're saying that 2024 is almost coming to an end, but yeah, I appreciate the insight on that. And for those of you who are listening who are not familiar with what a CISO is, it's Chief Information Security Officer. I didn't know about it till I had to start recruiting for it, and that's kind of how I met you. We worked for a brief time with the company, but so I appreciate you shedding light on these sneaky tactics that scammers are using these days. And just remember to everyone, stay safe online. Don't make it complicated. Sometimes if it's too good to be true, as they say, it probably is. So do your due diligence. Sometimes it's just as simple as trusting your instincts, double checking details, and protecting your personal information. But I appreciate all of your insights. Again, to everyone who's listening, if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share this with anyone you know that could use these tips. And I know there's so many people on the job market today who probably need to hear this episode, especially. Go follow us on LinkedIn. I'll have all of our links in the show notes. Follow me on social media at Jess Get Hired. But I'll be back again, and I hope that you'll be back again with me, hopefully
Absolutely.
very soon. But we'll bring more tips and real talk to help you get hired and thrive in your career. So until then, take care, everyone. And my name is Jessica Fiesta George, your host of the Jess Get Hired podcast, and I'll see you next time.